The story begins with Beth, a lady returning from a trip to China, stopping over in Chicago. Beth is married and has a son, but she receives a message from her ex-boyfriend asking to meet. Missing her boyfriend greatly, Beth decides to meet him. They spend a good time together, and Beth returns home the next day by catching her flight. It's reported in the news that strange diseases have started spreading in many places in America and China, causing many people to fall ill. Now, a few days pass with Beth at her home, but suddenly she starts feeling unwell. Her husband, whose name is MF, was taking care of her completely. Seeing Beth's condition, MF immediately takes her to the hospital, but within a few hours, Beth passes away there. MF doesn't understand why all of this is happening suddenly, but the shocking thing happens when MF arrives home. His son is found dead in the same way, lying on his bed. The way his mother died was found to be due to some dangerous disease. MF couldn't understand what was happening with his family. Now, the hospital staff, seeing this critical condition, quarantines MF in their center for a checkup. Later, it is found that the way Beth and MF's son died was due to some dangerous disease, but even after all the testing, the virus is not found in MF's body, meaning MF is completely immune to that disease, but still, no one had any idea what kind of disease it was that could have affected so many people at once. MF is very sad because he lost his wife and son in one blow. When the World Health Organization, WHO, came to know about this, they decided to quarantine the entire complex in China. In the quarantine process, all the infected people were transferred to a different place far away from the rest of the world so that whatever virus is present in their bodies does not spread to others. Now, this whole process begins, from which many people died. Many cases are found in America's wellness centers too. The sad thing about this disease was that many people had already been infected by it. So now America will have to take strict steps against the disease too. Some American experts were shown who were talking about this disease. Among them was a scientist named Dr. Myers, who was telling everyone that maybe this virus spreads by touching people, because if a dangerous virus affects a person, that person touches many things throughout his day, like his face, desks, tables, and many other things. This could be the medium for the virus to spread to other people. Dr. Myers also tells that many times all these viruses are present inside people, but they start spreading all these things at the right time. Now, infected people have to be gathered in one place and quarantined, otherwise, the virus will continue to spread. According to Dr. Myers' research, within a couple of days, we will get some information about this virus because the DNA of infected people is being scanned in research laboratories, which could increase the chances of knowing this virus even more. But until then, their organization will have to keep the infected people quarantined. Now, we meet an American organization called DHS. The DHS organization, keeping an eye on small disasters coming to the country, was ending them. The DHS officer, Dr. Shever, discusses with Dr. Myers that this could be a bioweapon, similar to how a country attacks its enemy with a nuclear bomb. In the same way, by creating bioweapons, these dangerous viruses can be spread, weakening the enemy country. However, after much research, Dr. Shever decided that this is not a biowarfare, rather, it has spread from a small place that is now continuously increasing through people. So now they have to find the source of the virus by any means. All the officers, along with Dr. Shever, go to the city where these viruses started. In fact, it was the same city where Beth and her daughter had died. Dr. Myers and Dr. Shever together will now conduct their investigation. Myers first meets people who knew Beth to see if they had been in contact with her and if they were infected. Although everyone connected with Beth's identification was safe, Dr. Myers finds out that there is a man who has not yet arrived there. Dr. Myers immediately contacts him with the help of connections and calls him. The man associated with Beth's identification was on a bus, which means he might have already been infected. Dr. Myers calls and tells him to stay wherever he is. After listening to all this, the bus with the identification of Beth gets off and stops at the bus stop. Within a few moments, Dr. Myers and his entire team reach there and quarantine that bus immediately so that this virus does not spread to more people in America. After spending 2 whole days there, it was found through research that this virus originated from pigs and bats, which were creating a separate structure. And such a virus scientists have never seen before. Drs. Myers and Dr. Chivar were completely confused as to how to develop an antidote for this virus. This virus had spread in many cities of America in very little time. Therefore, now a deep investigation has been started about this virus. Dr. Leonera is sent from America to Hong Kong for her investigation because scientists suspected that all these things started from China at this time. Inside Hong Kong, there were already more than 10,000 cases of this virus, and if this continued, within a few days these cases would double or even triple, because whenever anyone was infected with this virus, many people around them were automatically affected. Dr. Leonera is given information about Beth first, that she came to Hong Kong and then later to America. Therefore, she is present at the airport. Beth is watching all her footage so that she can get an idea of this virus from all those people. All those people who had contact with Beth are shortlisted so that chances of all of them having the virus can be there, but despite all these proofs, it is not confirmed where this dangerous virus ultimately came from. Dr. Leonera and her team felt that this virus must have originated from Hong Kong, but there was no solid evidence for this. Now here we have Dr. Myers, who was meeting all the relatives of Beth. But the most shocking thing is that now Dr. Myers is also infected with that virus. Dr. Myers had to be quarantined as soon as possible and was locked in a hotel so that the virus could not spread to more people. Dr. Myers also understood that this virus will not go away so soon. Therefore, she immediately starts calling all those people who came to meet her. It is possible that those people could also have this virus. Dr. Myers already knew all these possibilities. When Dr. Chivar called, it was found that she was completely safe, but due to Dr. Myers being infected, her condition started getting worse. Dr. Chivar informed Dr. Myers that he was sending his officers. They'll shift you to a comfortable place, but Myers' condition was deteriorating even further. Due to being infected, she wasn't able to breathe properly anymore. Dr. Leonera was now extracting information continuously, focusing solely on Beth. With the help of CCTV footage, she watched all the coverage of Beth, where she was meeting everyone in Hong Kong. After extracting details meticulously, Leonera realized that those confined within the club were either dead due to the virus or infected. This raised suspicions about Beth being the carrier since the virus was first detected inside her. Leonera, having collected the information, was possibly found, hence she was urgently returning from Hong Kong to America. However, on the highway, some Chinese individuals kidnapped Dr. Leonera. These Chinese people believed that the US government had found the cure for the entire virus, hence they could kidnap Leonera to blackmail the US government into providing them with the antidote to save their family. This virus has spread in many small villages of China, causing panic among the Chinese people. Now, the US military colonel Dr. Chivar was questioning about this virus, how many lives it could claim. With the danger of this flu, the population has decreased significantly, and this time the virus is much more mutated and dangerous. If we don't find the antidote to this virus soon, according to our estimates, 70 million people could die, and many of them might have already been infected. Here, Dr. Myers, who was infected, dies within a few days, and similarly, heavy casualties started occurring in America. Rescue teams were burying dead bodies underground, and this scene seemed quite terrifying to witness. It was clear that if 100 million people were infected in the country, then out of them, 2 to 20 million people would be dead immediately. It's the same inside as well. Due to the unavailability of the virus antidote, many people died. As a result, chaos erupted everywhere. There was a shortage of resources inside the city, and riots broke out everywhere. Amidst all this chaos, an unknown man claims to have the antidote to this virus. He had made this antidote himself, which worked similar to homeopathic medicines. However, the testing of this medicine was done by the man himself on his body, and he posted all related videos on the internet, causing many scared people to consume his medicine without thinking. However, it later turned out that no virus was cured by that medicine. That man spread this rumor so that he could sell his medicines extensively. Similarly, many people started buying the antidote mentioned by that man continuously so that he was making a lot of money. But when the police found out that these rumors were false, that man was arrested and his medicines were banned. Scientists from WHO were also constantly trying to develop an antidote with the help of their research. However, even after preparing more than 50 antidotes, they were unable to eradicate the virus. But when it came to the 57th antidote, a scientist from the WHO put it into a monkey and found that the antidote worked successfully. This means that this antidote was perfect for eliminating the effects of that dangerous virus. Only that same scientist from WHO knew that this antidote could work, so she injected herself with the antidote for human testing. After injecting the antidote into her body, she removed her mask and went to her infected father, as if this antidote would really work. Because if this antidote really works, then no virus can affect her, and she was doing all these things because if she experiments with this antidote on humans, it could take a lot of time, so she experimented with herself without telling anyone. And her surprising thing was that even after some time, that scientist was not affected by any virus, which means that this antidote really works against the virus. Now, who also knew everything about this antidote? Therefore, they start producing this antidote to cure affected people so that the vaccine can be spread everywhere within a short period of time. All things in America were starting to get better with the help of the vaccine, and many affected people were also being cured. Military personnel assure everyone that everything will be fine, and America was gradually returning to normal, but Dr. Leonera, whom Chinese people had captured, was demanding the vaccine from the American government so that they could cure their people. Therefore, the American government provided vaccines to those people, including Dr. Leonera, who was also spared. Now, Leonera is present at the airport awaiting immediate return to her country. Meanwhile, an officer sitting on Dr. Leonera's side at the airport office explains that the antidote given to Chinese people is not real, it was just written to save them. The antidote that Chinese people thought was a vaccine was actually a normal medicine that did not cure any virus. Upon realizing this, Leonera becomes eager because she knows how many people are affected in Chinese villages, and even if they take all this fake medicine, they will not be saved from the virus. Therefore, Dr. Leonera immediately goes to those people at the airport to tell them the truth. And in this way, our story ends here.